Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another video, and this is the final video in the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, Avengers GamerVerse Abomination Build-A-Figure Wave. This is the BAF itself, Abomination. So we're going to piece it together. This is a brand new sculpt, new mold, everything. It's not like the 80th anniversary Hulk figure. It's not the previous Abomination Build-A-Figure that we had before, which I'll do a side-by-side comparison with this guy. I don't have the Raft version out of package, so I won't be able to show it up against that, but let's put this thing together. Let's build it together. So first we'll start with the torso, since the torso is in two separate pieces. So we have the back part, we have the front part. Let's go just piece that together like so. It just pushes together, it doesn't snap in place or anything like that. We got the dumbbell joint for the head. So I had mentioned before the head, why it looks like it's only half a head, and that's because of how it's going to sit on the torso, and naturally, of course, that's how it is. That's a thin piece of plastic for that head, so I'm kind of worried, popping that on. It just kind of rests in there, doesn't pop on. It's just that's how it fits. I guess that works. That's okay. You get all kinds of crazy motion, so that's good. So let's get the legs in there. So we have the left leg. Where's the right leg? It's the right leg. So it just easily pushes together. Doesn't snap into place or anything like that. Nicely like so. And you can see this guy is going to be very, very, very tall. So let's put these arms in. So I had mentioned before that peg is very small to kind of go in there. I wish it were a little bit bigger. I feel like it'd feel a little bit more sturdy when, porting it on. So let's see. Porting it in there is a little bit tricky because it's kind of short, but there's some big pieces there. Goes in like so. It doesn't really snap into place. None of these pieces are snapping into place. That's just kind of odd. It's just kind of going in there. So there is the Abomination Build-A-Figure all put together, and he is quite large. And you know what? This thing is awesome. Let's just get the mechanics of how he's going to stand up fine. Yeah, he's pretty darn cool. I know people are like, Abomination again? But you know what? This thing is way different from the previous Build-A-Figure. We don't get the classic comic book look because, again, this is based on the Avengers video game. So we don't get the amphibian look. We get a more reptilian look. But huge size difference between the two. And I think this one really wins it. This wins because of the classic look to him and everything. But this being a brand new sculpt and everything, he's just got the size factor. When was the last time we got a large Build-A-Figure like this? Cole Obsidian, maybe? I'm trying to think. It had to have been Cole Obsidian the last time we got this large of a Build-A-Figure. So that is really awesome. Now let's see some close-up shots of him. Okay, so this guy is a monster. He's huge. Okay, so everything's kind of done in this base darkish green color. And then we get a couple of different color variations. So we get this lighter color throughout the torso here. And I don't know if it's just mine, but they really didn't go even on the chest. So you can see here how it goes up into the neck, but we really don't get it over his right pec. Not sure the reason why. I don't know if it's just sloppy on mine or if they're all going to be like that. So that might be something to kind of take note of. Not that you may have a choice. I think it was, well, I think you can kind of see it from the package. But we have that. There's a little bit of a darker green wash that goes along the arms here. Like you can see the hands is like the base color green, and then it is darker here on the arms. So that is a different shading color that's over it, and you could see kind of the distinction right here between this green, then when it gets a little bit darker. We get that on the back as well. I had mentioned this earlier, so if you could see kind of the seam line along there, it's a lighter green, similar to this lighter green. So when you go up in here where you have the darker shading, you don't get that in this section that has the spikes. So it's kind of noticeable if you're up close. How it's going to look in images, it's hard to tell. How you guys see it here on the video, the spikes really kind of cover it up. But it's definitely noticeable, when you have it in hand. Looking at the back, we actually have a couple little spikes right there that aren't colored. I noticed, you know, the fingernails aren't colored, the claws, unfortunately, but we do get the shading on the inside with that lighter color. We get that throughout the arms as well. His pants are just done in a black color, and it looks like he had a belt that was on. It was just like a buckle, and it just came unbuckled, so those are just kind of chilling there. We get the ripped part of the pants. I don't know if that's supposed to be a pocket or was a pocket right there. Kind of what that look is going for. So when it was first announced, I kind of thought it was going to use like the same pieces as like the 80th anniversary Hulk, like the same legs and everything, but none of that is the same. This is actually all 100% new sculpt. We haven't gotten it on anything before. We get a little bit of that lighter beige color shading right on the inside of the leg on both sides, and then the rest of the leg is just done in that flat green color. The claws, the toes are not painted. That would have been nice if they were. Unfortunately, they aren't, but the sculpt of it is all fantastic. Just the texture throughout. You know, we get a little bit of spikes on the back of the calf here, a little bit of bumps in the skin texture all throughout the figure. Just looks really, really, really good. Paint apps are solid except for right here on the torso. Again, I don't know if that's just mine or if that's going to be on everyone's. The head sculpt, it looks really good. It's at the color of like the inside of the mouth, the tongue is kind of that burgundy color. That's a separate plastic piece that's inside there. That's when you have the open mouth and how you don't have seams and stuff. That's how they do it. It comes out looking really good. The painted eyes are green. Probably hard to see on video, but it all comes out nice and clean. The ears kind of get this brownish color that's actually over the ears. So that's another color on top of the other colors that we have on the figure. The spikes throughout the head are going to be the same as on the back. I didn't mention this either, but the spikes on the elbow there are just painted green. They didn't paint those either. But just a solid looking Build-A-Figure overall. The size is just incredible. And one thing that I really like, the butterfly joints, they actually come onto the front of the torso a little bit. You know, in the 80th anniversary Hulk, we didn't get it at all. This is a little bit. How effective it is, you know, we'll see in the articulation, but it is a nice touch, and it doesn't take away from the overall aesthetic of the figure, which is, I think, what they were scared of doing with that Hulk. So, pretty awesome. Now let's see his articulation. Okay, so Abomination's articulation. So the head, he can look down that much. Up, he can look up somewhat. They use the dumbbell neck ball, so you can do this kind of motion in it, which is actually, you know, really good. He can actually look towards the sides, which is actually really good motion in there. So I really actually like that articulation they give him. So the arm can go up this high. The spikes on his shoulder are actually going to kind of run right into the torso piece, so you're not going to get it higher than that. You do get a full rotation in there. There is an upper bicep swivel there. You get a single jointed elbow. Whoops, popped the hand off. Single jointed elbow. Look at the peg on that hand is really short too. Kind of like the arm. So elbow, you're going to get a 90-degree on the elbow. The wrists do swivel and they do hinge on both of them. There is a butterfly. So the butterfly, as you can see, can go back pretty darn far. So you can get the arm to go back like crazy if he's getting ready to throw something or throw a punch, even though he doesn't have fists. Going forward, you can get some motion in there to give it some crossbody, so that is better than nothing. So I do appreciate that. So not bad. Diaphragm joint on this guy, so let's see the pivot. He can pivot to the side that much. He can pivot to the other side that much. Forward, not really. A little tiny bit. Back, a little bit more, so that's pretty good. You can actually see it's a little bit lighter, but they did kind of continue the paint going on in there, so that is pretty good. There is a... Oh, there's no waist swivel, unless mine's just stiff. Yeah, no, that's not budging. So no waist swivel, even though you could see it is cut along the waist. So I don't know if that's just mine, but that one's definitely not moving. But with the diaphragm joint, you can get them to move to the sides like so. So that shouldn't be so much an issue. Legs can go that far apart. He can kick forward pretty high for a big guy. Leg does go back. You get an upper thigh cut, which is where the leg actually connects to the figure. A double jointed knee, which gives you that much bend. There actually is a calf swivel there just under the spikes of the calf. So that's pretty good. Foot hinges all the way down. Hinges high up, ankle pivot, and you do actually have peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So you know what? I think the articulation on this guy is fantastic. The look of it is great. Definitely a highlight of the wave, and I think it's going to push a lot of people to say, you know what? Maybe I will pick up the wave just for this figure. Even though it's not comic book, still looks really good. Let's see how he looks compared to some other figures. Okay, and just to get it out of the way, look how huge he is compared to his other GamerVerse counterparts in the wave. Captain America, Miss Marvel, and Iron Man, just towering over them, like 4 times the size of Miss Marvel, and definitely huge compared to Captain America and Iron Man. What a great looking bunch for the video game, and I'm excited. Don't know if he's going to be the main bad guy of the video game, but he's definitely going to be in it. Of course, they made the figure. So we'll see how big of a role he's going to play in the game. Let's see how he looks to some other figures. Here he is next to the Marvel Legends Stan Lee figure, and he just towers over him. Okay, so the Abomination Build-A-Figure with the previous Abomination Build-A-Figure, huge difference between the two. I really like this dark green for Abomination. The lighter green looks really good too, but this is just an all-around better figure. I mean, if you're looking for the comic book look, obviously this one is going to be your preference and your go-to. This one I think was a little bit on the shorter side when you look at certain figures, especially with like the new 80th anniversary Hulk. You know, Hulk is much larger than Abomination, as you could see there. But not that it's bad. At the time, it was a really good one. Then, you know, San Diego Comic-Con, we got that one that was a darker green and darker green. So we had the two going at the same time, which kind of killed it, even though this one's definitely the more valuable of the two. But anyway, kind of getting way off topic. Video game, comic, I like the video game one more because overall, as a figure, it's better. I do prefer the comic book look for Abomination, though. So there you have it. You know what I almost forgot to do, and I almost completed the video, and somebody again had reminded me. So everyone wants to see a head swap of the old Abomination head onto this new Abomination body, and let's, I don't know if that's gonna work. Oh yeah, okay, so it can be done. However, it looks a little out of place in my opinion. The greens aren't an exact match, you know, but somebody can paint that and do something with it. But it sits very high up on the neck, so even there you can see it just looks kind of like it's floating. But you take a look at the side, and it's really not sitting on there too nicely. But yes, it pops on that peg, but it's not good. And then you could see there how much it goes way off of it. But again, it does pop on there. I just don't really recommend doing it. Okay, here is Abomination next to the 80th anniversary Hulk figure, and you can see standing up straight, Abomination is actually a little bit taller than this Hulk figure. Hulk is wider overall. They're both pretty beefy figures, so both probably about the same weight. So I think the size comparison is fairly well between the two. The thing that's really going to throw it off is because this is a video game figure, the video game Hulk is not even based on this figure. It's actually based on the endgame Hulk, which we're going to check out right now. Okay, Endgame Hulk next to the Abomination Build-A-Figure, and you can see that Abomination is still much larger than this version of Hulk, but they can work. Now, the Outback Hulk figure is going to be based on this body, so it makes sense to see how they look side by side together, because this is how it's going to be once we get that Outback Hulk. It's going to be basically this exact size, unless they do something different with the legs, which I'm not sure, maybe they will, but that gives you an idea of how they look compared to each other in the game. We shall see in September. Okay, so here is the entire wave all next to each other so you can see everything together. I'm going to rank it. If I included the Build-A-Figure, would be number 1. I don't. But here's how I'm going to rank it. I'm actually going to go with mar-vell, my number 1, Rage, my number 2, Mach-1, my number 3, Leader, my number 4, Captain America, number 5, Miss Marvel, number 6, and that Iron Man, number 7. The Miss Marvel, that face print, I just think is just an excellent job by Hasbro, so I got to give them kudos. The Iron Man, it's just nothing special. Captain America I thought was going to be my least favorite, but he won me over. The comic figures, in my opinion, are actually outstanding in this wave. Definitely ones that, from what I see on comments and whatnot, those are definitely the ones that people want. Mach-1 is just a fun-looking one. Yes, the white is really bright. Maybe a darker color or gray or a wash or something would have made it look better, I guess. It still looks pretty cool to me. It doesn't look cheap. that bad. Let me put it that way. But the comic figures are fantastic. So that is how I would rank the wave. You guys let me know down in the comments below how you would rank the wave. Are you picking up all the figures? Are you passing on certain ones? I'm curious. You guys let me know all of it down in the comments below. Okay, so here's one last look at this Build-A-Figure, and I think it is great. It really surpassed my expectations. I didn't think it was going to be this large. I didn't think I would like it as much. I think it is great. Definitely worth picking up the entire wave to get. I can't wait until early September when that video game comes out. Hopefully Abomination is badass in it and has a large role and not just a small minor role, and that we get a whole Build-A-Figure for it. So time will tell. We shall see, but I think it's a great figure. If you guys like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.